Focus on Ports, brought to you by Transnet National Ports Authority.
Welcome back. You're watching Focus on Ports. We've been chatting to Herbert Msagala, General Manager for Ports at Transnet, South Africa's state-owned enterprise responsible for the country's rail ports and pipelines. Herbert, just before the break, we were talking about the old Durban International Airport and how it's going to be a complementary harbour, and you are opening it out to tender after the feasibility studies. Is it going to be a public-private partnership, opportunities for the public to get involved in that type of investment?
Yeah, obviously the Durban dig-out port present an opportunity to unlock the entrance to the port system and ensure that the new players in the port system can be accommodated. That is why we are opening it up, and we are looking forward to those private-public partnership and the new entrants to participate. And as you know, that part of the MDS strategy is to ensure that we encourage the new entrants and grow the economy by empowering previously disadvantaged communities.
All right, that sounds like a very positive development. We're still talking to you about freight and logistics, and previously South Africa has relied quite a lot on road. We've had endless problems with road freight solutions, particularly with regards to the backup of traffic and the danger to using the roads and what have you. But it's actually 75% cheaper to use rail. Now, I know your responsibility is ports, but could you give us an indication of why it's so important for the freight solution to move away from road and concentrate on rail?
Yeah, the question of reducing the cost of doing business in South Africa is very key. And how do we intend to do that from the ports and the rail sector? Just to give you an example, today if you go to KwaZulu-Natal from Johannesburg, you will see a lot of road trucks on the road. One of our intention when we say we have a drive to move traffic from road to rail is to increase the length of the trains. Our current traditional trains of container trains were sitting as 50 wagon train, and we have now launched the 75 wagon train, which take 150 TEUs, which is equivalent to 50 trucks on the road. Now, if you look at that, it's not only the shift in terms of the traffic, it also contributing to a carbon footprint. As you all know that we're all going green, and rail is one of the opportunities that Transnet present in ensuring that freight move in a system in a green manner. But if you look at the port system, how will we look at in terms of ensuring that we lower the cost of doing business? We will be looking at cargo dues. You will notice that in the current financial year, we have put aside 1 billion aside in ensuring that we incentivize the automotive sector and the manufacturing sector in terms of the export. That is another way of driving the economic activities and ensuring that we reduce the cost of doing business. As you know, the more we can produce locally and beneficiate our raw materials, that's another way of ensuring that we create jobs locally and we ensure that we stimulate the economy of growth. So really, in terms of the reducing cost of business, again, we're looking at efficiencies. I've indicated to you that in our market demand strategy, we will be driving productivity of the assets and improving the operational efficiency. So the vessel turnaround time is another way of ensuring that we accommodate more vessels in our ports, and the more the vessels, the more commodities can be shipped out of the country, and the more production can happen in different production environments.
You know, I'd like to speak a little bit more about the turnaround times and the fact that you are pushing the ports in South Africa to be the #1 choice with regards, moving goods out of and into the country. How do we stack up with other countries on the continent while we are not in competition, but in terms of understanding where will the gateway come, where will the gateway be used if international investors or international operators are looking at a more cost-effective way of bringing in goods or at least getting goods out of the country?
Yeah, we want to position ourselves to be amongst the top 3 in the world. The reason why if not one, the reason why we want to position ourselves, if you look at the South African port system, We are actually a solution to the Suez Canal. As you know, that there's issues of pirates in the Suez Canal. So South African port system gives that as an opportunity for both the American side, the UK, and the Europe side and Asian markets to be able to trade freely, and also Africa as a whole. So in terms of trade and positioning of South Africa and efficiency of our port system is actually an anchor in ensuring that the South African ports are becoming the port of call in terms of trade in a global market.
A little bit more about the intra-regional and intra-continental trade. An efficient, more cost-effective and lean and mean port system is going to make us a very important player on the African continent going forward. In the next 7 years, by 2018, 2019, where would you see the South African freight solution or South African logistics solutions playing into that intra-regional and intra-African trade?
Our response in terms of that, we want to coin the port of Ngqura as a hub of transshipment. And
what exactly does that mean?
It basically means that as opposed to vessels calling in multiple ports, then you can create a vessel to call in one port and be able to intercoastal transport the commodity either up north or down south. So the hub gives us the opportunity, as opposed to the vessel called in Cape Town, Ngqura and Durban. The one big vessel can be able to call in Ngqura and leave the parcels there, and the rest of the vessels can be able to connect. The same model works in the airline industry when you normally have to fly here to Emirates, and from Emirates you can connect to different countries in the world. So it's more a hub and spoke model, which is currently recognized in the world.
Let's go back to the capital expansion program, the 300 billion. I read somewhere that most of it is going to be funded internally, and the funds are going to come from the actual operations and the revenue that Transnet produces as a group. Obviously, this is more at the higher level, but that is quite an interesting model, because most people would think that you would go out to the market and borrow the money. How exactly will that work, and is that really the plan?
I think our drive of ensuring that we operate efficiently. We believe as Transnet, if we operate efficiently, we're able to lower the cost of doing business. That on its own gives us an opportunity to create funding on our own and sustain our business. So the real drive in terms of sustainability of our investment is driving our operations. That's why we believe that most of the investment will come from our operations. That is why our drive is into operational efficiency.
Okay, that's very interesting, because there are risks. As you know, the global economy is very volatile and things change. And I think the bulk or the backbone of the success of the CAPEX program, particularly when it comes to funding, is a very strong export market. And you have an aim to become the 4th largest exporter of coal to China in the next 7 years. Say something happens where global forces or the global economy is not playing ball and you aren't able to meet those objectives. How effective are your litigation or mitigation strategies to make sure that you meet your targets?
Yeah. When the MDS strategy was put in place, we did envisage risk in terms of the economical risk. We did envisage a risk in terms of the instability of the market. But we are confident that looking at what we need to offer into Africa and what we need to offer in the world, the 300 billion strategy will sustain despite those threats in terms of the economy. So in terms of our risk mitigating plans that we have in place, we are confident that we would not be exposed in terms of driving our infrastructure development plan.
And you touched on it earlier, but I just want a little bit more detail with regards to job creation. The documents say 558,000 jobs will be created by 2018-2019, accumulative with the number of employees, the headcount at the moment. How realistic is that? I'm talking direct jobs, indirect, and jobs that are economy-wide impacted.
Yeah, like I indicated previously, we are at Transnet, we are sitting at 59,000 employees. We'll be moving to 74, which give us 15,000 direct employees. In terms of the indirect jobs, as I've indicated to you, that the more we move freight volumes, the more we stimulate the economy in terms of production rate. Like for instance, I can make an example on the mining sector. As we say that we're going to be increasing the coal from 68 million tons to 98 million tons. That means there will be an opportunity for junior miners to start railing coal. That means there will have to be an opportunity to accommodate junior miners in terms of allocation in the port systems. That on its own, from the mining sector, there will be jobs created. Those are the indirect jobs that we are talking about. And in terms of some of the products that are beneficiated, which are transported, like transporting iron ore coming out as a steel, we are going to create jobs in the steel sector and also in the mining sector. So in terms of the job creation, it's not only job creation. As we create these jobs, we'll also be looking at the issue of localization, because some of the materials or products that we normally import, we're going to be exporting them locally. And also the whole issue of the skills development. This will also give us the opportunity for the country to be able to develop skills and grow. And this will also force some of the international companies to be able to transfer skills locally.
Mm-hmm. So for the next 7 years, it's going to be a very busy time, lots of changes. The company will be looking very differently to what it is right now after 7 years. And what is the overall feeling like in the organization amongst those that work there? Is there that sense that something really big is happening?
You know, we were reflecting, one was reflecting that as we were celebrating June 16 in terms of the 1976 in South Africa, and you look at today in 2012 in South Africa, the excitement of today is about how can we improve the better life of South Africans, how can we eradicate the unemployment, the poverty, how can we make sure that we can improve inequality of the system, ensuring that we stimulate the growth of South Africa. So the hype in terms of the employees in Transnet as a whole, specifically in the port sector, they are excited to be part of the team that unlocks the growth of South Africa. They are excited in making sure they bring change on the social transformation and also on the economic transformation. And all of them, if you had to go around the port system, they know they're in the heart of the economy of South Africa. They know that the economy of South Africa depends on them. And that's why we believe that the port system is the gateway of trade for the country and also for the world.
Now, on that positive note, we'll end the show. Thank you very much for joining us, Herbert. It's been a great honor. We wish you everything of the best. And we look forward to telling the story of the advancement of the ports in South Africa.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Well, we've come to the end of the show, but do email us your comments and queries to ports@abn360.com. Join us again at the same time next month for another episode of Focus on Ports. From me, Lionel, Skink, and the team. It's goodbye for now.